I'm Greg Shea, and welcome to my website that's dedicated to this book, which I'd like to just say a few words of introduction about. But in part of the introduction, what I want to include is this book. I'd like to talk about this book first because it's of a set with the first book. The book, Your Job Survival Guide, is a book about dealing with a world of constant change, or what Peter Vail called constant whitewater, where change is not simply episodic, it is actually always going on. And in that world there are different coping devices, different ways of dealing with everything from your pace to how you communicate, to how you team, to how you lead, that we put in that book inside of a metaphor for dealing with permanent whitewater. The book that this site is dedicated to, namely Leading Successful Change, is a companion piece. It's the other side of the coin. This is the part that has to do with you as a leader, whether you lead a department, service line, a strategic business unit, or an organization. How is it that you go about being successful in change when in fact most changes are not successful? And this book is based on over 30 years of my practice, over 20 years of Cassie's practice, and it builds on a model that I've both developed and have used over that period of time called the work systems model. And what I'd like to do is use 3 quotes that appear at the beginning of the book as a way of providing a quick overview of the book and to help you decide if this is a book that you might want and that you might want and share with your boss, with your colleagues, with your direct reports, namely those people who depend on you to be able to lead change in your organization. So the first quote is from R. Buckminster Fuller, and it goes, "You never change things fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." We do much better regarding change when we're clear about where we want to go, the alternative we're trying to get to. It's a key premise of the book. The second quote would be from Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. "You can't talk your way out of problems, you behave yourself into." In other words, behavior is the key part of how people interact with each other, the currency of exchange that we use in organizations. And then the third premise comes from, actually the quote comes from a work of fiction, Lisa Lutz, The Spellman Strike Again. "Our ability to adapt is amazing. Our ability to change isn't quite as spectacular." When we think about change, it's what's the behavioral set of scenes that you want to create, and then to change the environment that people operate in so they can adapt to change. It's a pulling model to change as opposed to a pushing model to change. We are very good as human beings in adapting to changed environment. We don't often, as leaders of change, spend time adapting the environment to drive the behavioral change that we want to see. The model that we want to create is both the behavior and it's the model of the work environment that we need to create. Thank you, and I hope that you find the book of use.